How's it, everybody? It is time for my Ken tutorial, my ranked slash tournament stuff. What you need to know, no extra stuff, no extra filler. We'll get right into it. We'll talk about the normals, special moves, all that good stuff first. So, normals, stand jab, very strong. 4-frame startup, crouch jab, 4-frame startup. Both very good. You can use the pressure pretty well here as well. The stand jab. It doesn't combo into his target combo naturally, but his crouch jab does, so I would recommend using this. But stand jab is also very good. You can use their pressure. Throw pressure, right? Come up, jab, throw, or come up, jab, target combo. Very strong. His jump jab is not very good. I would not use it pretty much ever. He has way better buttons in the air. Standing medium punch. Standing medium punch is a part of his target combo. It doesn't go very far. His main use is just target combo, really. Like, doing this by itself is not... I'm not using it too often. Maybe once in a while, like, I want to mix it up and try to get greedy and then maybe throw afterwards. But your main thing is, obviously, that target combo. That is one of his bread and butter combo starters, offense, all that good stuff. It is heavy punch, or excuse me, standing medium punch, standing heavy punch. His crouch medium punch, though, is pretty strong. It goes quite far for a crouch medium punch. Not as good as this, because it's not a low, but there is instances like this where you would want to use it, especially off of pressure. It puts them in throw range no matter what, even mid-screen, right? Unless they walk back like a lot. Okay, see this? It still keeps you in throw range, so it's pretty good for pressure situations, and it does give you some extra damage in your combo filler. So pretty solid button overall. His jumping medium punch actually pretty decent. I like to use it a lot, especially when people are trying to jump out of the air, or out of the corner. Sorry, like jumping back and doing this, especially on counter hit. It's pretty good, so you can just run up again and start pressure. So this is one of his better air buttons, I would say. Now, stand heavy punch. Stand heavy punch is very good. It goes extremely far. Some of his best starters are off of this. It beats a lot of low forwards, especially. It's pretty good against low forwards. So definitely use it for sure. Very, very good bind. Crouch Fierce is pretty decent anti-air. I wouldn't use it all the time versus doing a regular Shoryuken or DP. But it's good in certain situations if you want to be lazy. But also, once they jump in on you... Oops, sorry, let's do that. Right. If they jump in on you, you see how far they are once they land. But if you do... It does leave you a lot closer in order to do certain things, like going into crouch and medium kick, which we'll talk about in a minute. So this button is pretty good. I would definitely use it sparingly. It's not his best anti-air, but it's a pretty good one for sure. His jumping heavy punch, though, it's definitely his best jumping attack. It goes really far down. It has a lot of hit stun. Leads into high damage. It is very, very good. It's definitely his best jumping attack. Let's talk about the kicks. So, stand light kick. One of his best light attacks, and probably one of the best light attacks in the game. It goes really far. It goes into DP, goes into Tatsu. You can do jab, jab into it. It works anywhere on the screen, max distance. It's also 5 frames. So, against certain things like this, right? It does beat. Oops, sorry. You see how it punishes combat? You can do it for stuff like that. So it makes it a very good 5-frame punish. Probably one of the best in the game. Combos, it does it all. It's decent for pressure too. Very, very good button. Crouch leg kick is also very good. It is a low, obviously. You can do it in certain combos as well. Not too bad. It's not as good as this, but it's pretty decent, especially for like empty jump low stuff. You can do stuff like that. His jumping light kick, though, his jumping light kick is a cross up. It's not as good as his jumping medium kick, even though the jumping medium kick sometimes misses. The jumping light kick has a little bit more range on it, but obviously less hit stun, less damage. So it's a decent button. It's not his greatest, but it is a cross up. Medium kick. Let's talk about standing medium kick. Standing medium kick goes into his target combo, which is stand medium kick, stand heavy kick. Overall, it's usually -5. So if you space it out, you should be fine. His target combo, though, is from -12, and the final hit is -11. So I would definitely avoid spamming it. You will get punished quite a bit. If you're going to make this work, I would just do this. And if you see them get hit, then go into the target combo. You do have a lot of time to combo afterwards. So... you have a lot of time to hit confirm. You have quite a bit. So definitely use it as a hit confirm tool. But as a button on its own, it's still pretty good, though. It advances him forward. On hit, it's +3. So you can do stuff like this. So, pretty solid button overall. Sometimes it catches the anti-air as well on their jump startup. Crouching medium kick, though. Crouching medium kick is the pinnacle of his neutral. Absolutely. Very far, it's a low. It's special cancelable. Elysian combo is his most like standard combo. This button is very, very, very good. Goes into Tatsu, goes into Fireball. You can do it to Super. You can Drive Rush or Drive Impact, right? Very, very solid button. And his jumping medium kick is also pretty good. It goes straight forward, so sometimes as good as the air-to-air. And like I mentioned earlier, it does cross up. So all of his medium kicks are pretty good overall. All of his buttons are good in general. Let's talk about his roundhouse, though. His standing heavy kick. Standing heavy kick goes really far. It's probably as far as reaching normal if you're not counting his step kick out of his run. On counter hit, it does give you a nice pop-up here, which you can do into DP out of his run. Oops. It's a little bit finicky. His actual better combo for this, do something like this. Well, not like that, but you can go into DP. That one is way more consistent. It's way easier to do. So if you have the bar, I would recommend running up and pressing heavy punch into run. It's a little bit more consistent and a little bit more damage. Well, you see, even I dropped that one, and I've like played this character a lot. It's not the easiest confirm ever, but still pretty good button. It's usually negative like 7, I think, or -5. Sorry, it's a -5 button. So as long as you space it pretty well, you shouldn't get punished. His sweep is also very good. It goes really far, and it's only -10. Certain characters, it makes it really hard to punish him. So I wouldn't use it all the time, but throwing a sweep here and there, you could get away with not getting punished. So definitely use it sparingly, but definitely use it in your neutral game. Next up is jumping heavy kick. Jumping heavy kick is pretty good. It goes very far. I wouldn't recommend using it over this. I think his jump heavy punch is a little bit better. But if you're a little bit farther out, the jumping heavy kick is definitely the way to go. It's up there. It's definitely one of his better jumping attacks. So use it at farther ranges. But if you're up close like this, I would definitely just use jumping heavy punch instead. That's all of his special moves. Or excuse me, that's all of his normals. Let's talk about the special moves. So obviously he has Fireball. 3 different speeds. He has EX, which has 3 hits. His EX one doesn't knock down. Even on punish counter, it does not knock down. But you can do stuff like this on run up. So if you're having a Fireball war from far range, you do this. You can run up and get a combo if you're close enough. You can't be super far range, but depending on the hit you get. If you get a punish counter, you have a lot more time, obviously. But his Fireball is very solid. It's very good at neutral to be using it, especially if you're like in ranges like this. So you kind of have to make him think like, oh, do I DI here? Do I not DI here? Especially when you're fighting characters that have slightly better normals than you. It's important to be using that Fireball up close. Obviously sparingly, you don't want to get jumped in on, but it definitely should be a part of your neutral game. Also, obviously, like I mentioned, 3 different speeds. Next up, let's talk about his Tatsu. His Tatsu is pretty good. I only really use the light version and the run-up version. The EX1 does have a lot of corner carry, but if you do it mid-screen, it does push you back pretty far. His light one is pretty good though, because if you do it off of like a light attack, he gets that double hitting Tatsu, and off of this you get DP. So it gets you a little bit extra damage off your light combos. The heavy one and the medium one I don't really use ever, but the heavy one can be decent because it does travel you very far. You can run up and get some pressure afterwards. So the heavy one is not too bad either. But the run version is very, very good. It's easily one of his best moves. Out of target combo, you get a lot of corner carry, a lot, and you get run up pressure as well. On punish counter as well, you also get an insane combo. Oops, that's middle. That's corner to corner. Obviously, I use all of my drive meter, but you kind of get the example that his run Tatsu is very good. Very, very good. You can do some crazy stuff too. I don't really recommend doing this kind of combo, but you can make it so like the last hit hits behind and then he like floats forward. It's some kind of Twitter meme combo, but it does have its uses. We'll talk about Shoryuken. Shoryuken, still pretty good. 5-frame startup on the light version. Obviously, he has the EX1, so the EX1 does have invincibility frames, so it is going to be your wake up, including level 1 super, obviously. But yeah, definitely his best anti-air for the most part, including crouching heavy punch. So I would definitely recommend using DP more as your anti-air if you're, if you're comfortable doing that. His run-up DP is pretty good too. It has 2 main uses outside of combos. If they're really far away and they jump in on you, you can anti-air them. Like, let's say for example, if I were to throw a fireball here. Oops. You can anti-air from basically full screen. The other use is if they're throwing a fireball, this run-up DP has invincibility frames against fireballs, so you can go under and do a DP. It's a little bit tricky though. I wouldn't recommend doing it all the time, but still pretty good. And then obviously, like I mentioned, for combos, the good thing about the run-up DP is it does have 2 hits on it, so you can basically mash super and it'll almost always come out. I almost never have an issue of the super not coming out because of that 2-hit window. So yeah, EX Shoryuken, very good. Or run-up Shoryuken, very good. Next up, we'll talk about one of his new moves, Dragon Lash. Dragon Lash overall is mainly only used for his heavy version. His heavy version is +1, which is quite good. It's pretty fast too. You can catch a lot of people off guard. It also goes like really far, so really good for pressure. But it is unsafe, obviously, if they see it, so I wouldn't use it all the time, but it is good to sneak in here and there to kind of skip neutral and just get your offense going. The other thing too is on punish counter, if they are crouching, if you do the medium version off of like crouching, or excuse me, standing heavy punch, you do get, I missed the ender there, but you do get a pretty wild combo. Even without meter, it's still pretty good. This also works for the heavy version too, obviously, but the heavy version doesn't combo into this. But let's say like they try to do like crouching medium kick and you catch them with this. You can go right into target combo and get a run-up Tatsu, which is pretty solid. So I'll mainly use it only for the heavy version. The EX version is not very good. The only other version I would say is worth using is obviously his run-up version, because it does side swap if you put them in the air, which his target combo does do that. so you do get side swap. It's mainly useful if you're in the corner. Let's say if you're in the corner, you get a random hit. And now they're in the corner, so yeah, that side swap combo is very good. It also stacks up a lot of damage. So if you're trying to do something really, spend all your meter. Oops. You can do DP, you can do super. You can basically do all of the supers out of this, so it makes it really useful if you need to spend just a little bit extra meter just to get the kill. So, pretty solid move. Heavy version and the run-up version is definitely his best ones. Next up is another new move from him. I think it's called Shinrai, I believe it's called. Let's double check. Yeah, or Shinrai, whatever it's called. So this move has a couple different versions. So you have the light one at 12 frame startup, 16 frame startup for the medium version, and the heavy one is 25, but it does knock them back. And they have follow-ups to them. So you can do light kick. The medium kick is an overhead, but it has a lot of room in between it, so people can mash out of it. And they have the heavy kick version, which is a knockdown. But you can duck this, so it doesn't hit crouchers. And this is also a low, by the way, the light kick version. It's mainly useful to do this version. There's a couple uses for it. So one version, it is -11, so it is very unsafe to just do by itself. But the heavy version is -2, so it changes quite a bit depending on which version you do. And the negative or the medium version is -7. So if you're gonna do it just like by itself, you could do the heavy version. It doesn't really combo into much unless you're in the corner. As you see, the heavy version doesn't combo, but the medium version and the light version does. But if they block this, this is -5, and he's pretty far away. So some characters cannot really punish this, to be honest. The medium version is -3, which is basically safe in the game. But it does have a big gap in between it. The other thing too is, if you do get a hit confirm off of this, like say something like this, right? Like, well, obviously not out of the air, but if you do something like this, you have a lot of time to do supers. So if you want to be extra lazy, or let's say you're like completely in burnout and you have no meter, you can do something like this into super, and it'll, if you're really lazy about it, you could do that, and it's almost like foolproof. Like, you will not mess up that combo. You have so much time to do super afterwards. It's pretty much impossible for anyone at any skill level to hit that. But also in the corner, it does have some cool combos. Like, you do like, I'm kind of bad at them. Let me do the other side. I'm actually better. We'll try one more time. Yeah, I'm pretty bad at them because they're not very useful, to be honest. They're just kind of swag combos. Yeah, I think you do super afterwards, I think. I don't use them, so I mean, you can use them if you want. He does have this version, which is pretty good. I think it's the heavy version, actually. Yeah, sorry. It's the medium kick into the heavy kick. And then you can do super afterwards, which is pretty good damage. But yeah, there's lots of that move. A lot of gimmicks, but also some pretty good aspects about that move. And the last we can talk about is run follow-up. So he obviously has run stop, which is if you press both kicks, he runs up and does nothing. If you press kick again, his light kick, he does a stop. It's good if you get like some sort of knockdown like this. You want to run up, you can throw. He has an overhead, which is his medium kick. This is also special cancel, by the way, into super, so you can do stuff like this. And that move is an overhead, so they have to be careful about that. It's kind of a like an all or nothing mix-up, but it's still pretty decent. And then he has his step kick, which is off of his run. This is probably the one I use the most. Just because after Fireball, I'd like to, if they like to parry it, I like to run up and do a step kick just to get closer to them and maybe get a hit in. Like, whether or not I get the hit in, I'm still a little bit closer if I need to get in. And then obviously his special moves out of it as well. So his run is very useful. It's like a very huge cornerstone for his combos, especially stuff like this. Doing DR into this gives you a combo. So you're going to see a lot of Ken combos look like this, right? You do... There's quite a bit of run canceling in his combos, so if you're not comfortable doing that, he may not be the character for you. But honest to God, it's pretty easy to do if you practice it just a little bit. So this is basically the main button you're doing out of it. His crouching heavy punch. His crouching heavy punch into target combo into run up Tatsu, basically. It's like, it's majority of his combos are gonna look something like that. Or doing it off of like DP into super. That's basically how most of his combos go. And it goes for a lot of his buttons too. His crush medium kick, his stand heavy punch. Yeah, so it's definitely the cornerstone of his combos, or some of his best combos for sure. He does have air Tatsu as well, I forgot to mention. His air Tatsu is okay-ish. His regular Tatsu is not that great. It does linger you in the air, so you can use it for some gimmicks. His EX1 one goes very far, though. I don't use it that often. I should probably look into it a little bit more. But he jumps very far, so you could catch people off guard by jumping with it. And you can go into target combo off of it, so, you know, mess around with it. You probably will know about it more than I will. But I'm definitely going to use it a little bit more. It does, I think it crosses up as well. Yeah, it does hit cross up. So the EX one is pretty decent. But that's it for special moves. Talk about supers real quick. His level 1 super is his reversal. It does switch sides though, unfortunately. At 7 frame startup, so you do have to be careful. I wouldn't use it in combos that much unless you're going to kill. His level 2... Oops, sorry. Oh my god, I can't do supers today. There we go. I cannot do supers today. There you go. A little bit faster. This one doesn't have any invincibility, so again, this is really only used for combos. I wouldn't recommend using it any other way. You can do it off of this, though. So you can do his EX Jinrise in the corner and then doing level 2 because you can do EXs into level 2 in this game. So even off of Fire Bubbly too. Yeah, it's not the best combo ever, but it is something you can do. It does keep you pretty close to him. So if you do it in the corner, you're quite plus. You're plus 36, so you can't really get a jump in, but you're still pretty much on top of them. You get like some throw game if you want to press buttons on top of them too. So level 2 is pretty decent, and then level 3 is obviously his reversal, his Shoryuken. That's his animation, and then he can do a non-animation version. If I can get it here. How am I gonna do this? I'm trying to think how I would get. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. So he has a non-animation version. If you hit him in the corner, I think mid-screen as well, actually, you do get another Shoryuken. It does way less damage, so I would recommend mainly just making sure you get the animation on it. The animation does push you out quite far. In the corner, though, you do get run up. You can do drive rush into stand light kick or drive rush into throw for offense, as long as they don't have like a super or anything like that. You can even run up too. Obviously, you don't get anything crazy, but you can run up and stay in their face after you hit them with level 3 in the super. Like, I'll show you the spacing, what it looks like. it leaves you about here. So you can run up and then stay in the corner, or you could basically DR throw. That's it for his supers. So let's talk about... we did talk about a little bit of combo stuff. I'm going to talk about his defense overall. His defense is pretty decent, only just because he does have this combo. His crouch light punch is 4 frames, and then you have 1, 2, 3 hits in order to confirm. And even if you don't get the confirm, you can always just drive rush and throw them. The only thing, he doesn't really get any combo unless he's in counter hit off of his lights into Dragon Rush, or into Drive Rush. So you'd have to get something like this, right? You can get this. This works. This also works as well. But doing it without a counter hit, he doesn't get anything. He can jab afterwards, but only off of like the first jab. Like you can't get it off of this. It's too. It doesn't have enough hit stun on it. So if you're gonna do it, you have to do something like this. Which isn't the best, but it is an option. And then obviously he has EXDP, which is pretty good. His back throw is also very good. For example, if you're like kind of away from, if you're getting close to the corner, and if you back throw them from like even over here, they get sent to the corner. Obviously you need to run up on them, but you can get a really fast side switch and basically turn the tides for you. The other thing is he does have, obviously if you get a button into this, for example, if they start respecting you in the corner, you can get a button into this, and then you are now +1, and you push them quite a bit far back. That is another option you can do. Usually I do it like off of something like this. Like I say if I get a jab, now I'm +1 and I'm way farther out of the corner than I was originally. So that's like one little instance I would do in order to like create space for myself. But for defense, his defense is pretty good. Like I mentioned, quite a bit of stuff there. Offense-wise, his offense is very strong just because he does have this move, like I just mentioned. His throw game is very good because he does have a throw loop in the corner, and he is very close to you. So how his throw works is basically, if you walk up any more, if you walk up by just the tiniest amount, he's back in throw range. But if I stand still here, right, I actually don't throw you. So it's probably one of the scariest corner situations in the game, because let's say he does, let's say I'm just like kind of throwing. If I throw here and I don't walk up, he could spend a lot of bar and kill you. So yeah, his offense is very good in the corner. Mid-screen though, it's a little bit weaker. You can do DR into target combo or into stand medium punch. His stand medium punch on drive rush is +2. This one's a little bit more plus, and also it does leave you in throw range right after. So if you're gonna run up and do something, I would recommend doing this instead. And then obviously you can run up and just do throw normally. Or even run up jab. Run up jab is also pretty solid. It becomes +3, which is like very strong. And then you can do stuff like this, right? You can like back step, do this. And then his buttons overall for like neutral game, it's, you know, he has this button, which is like probably one of his best. His stand light kick is very strong. Stand heavy punch, roundhouse. His jump ins mainly want to be doing jumping heavy punch or jumping heavy kick. If you want to get a cross up, jumping medium kick is very good. Unless you're like really close to them, then you kind of want to do jumping light kick. But if you're really close, you're not going to really get anything. But his neutral game is very solid. He has fireball, obviously. Definitely be using this quite a bit. Especially fireball into run. You can close distance quite fast if you're down on life lead. Has a reversal DP. You know, he is the complete package, to be honest. Like, this character is, in my opinion, probably top 2, just because he gets some of the best reward for just playing the game normally. Like, just this move alone is ridiculous. The fact that he gets corner carry like this, and on top of it, let's say if you're in the corner directly, you're already back in the corner, so at any point in time, Ken could put you in the corner. And his combos are very strong, like this into... Oh, not that, but... And he can run up on you, get pressure, so... Yeah, he has the complete package. He has offense, he has defense, and he has solid neutral game. You can't go wrong with this character. I will make another video showing off like his combos. I know I didn't talk about combos here, but I'm gonna make a separate video just like putting all the combos together. I have to just edit it up a little bit better, and that'll be out in a few days. But that's it. That's the Ken guide, all right? So take it easy. Go enjoy some Ken.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。